Would you please count off?
1, 2, 3,
4,
5,
6. I'm the cameraman.
Thank you. According to the World Health Organization, no country in the world is justified with having a cesarean section rate greater than 10 to 15%. However, 25% of American babies are delivered by C-section. You might be surprised to know that financial incentives for doctors could be driving this increasing trend. Unfortunately, I am one of those women who has delivered by C-section. Today, I'm going to tell you about the unpleasant experience that I had during the birth of my second daughter, Rihanna. First, I'm going to talk about how my delivery day went. Secondly, I will explain to you what my doctor and his nurse did wrong and what they should have done. And finally, I will explain what could be behind the increasing number of C-sections. Hopefully, by the time we're finished, you will have some information that will keep this from happening to you or anyone you love. Let me begin by telling you how my delivery day went. There's a picture of us right here. My husband and I got to the hospital early that morning so that I could be induced. After checking in, I remember that the nurse gave me some paperwork for me to sign, and this paperwork contained information about complications that result from delivering by C-section. I signed everything because I had the certainty that this information didn't apply to me since I was having a natural delivery. Induction began, and as I waited on my contractions to begin, I felt fear. I had the feeling that something was wrong. However, I wanted to remain positive, and I tried to reassure myself by thinking about the fact that I was going to get to meet my baby shortly thereafter. After about 5 hours of active labor, the nurse said that I was ready to deliver my baby, so she called the doctor. The doctor came rushing into the room, and he proceeded with the routine pre-delivery pelvic exam. Suddenly, I saw an expression of horror on his face, and he said, I can feel the baby's feet coming out. This baby is breech, and we have to do a C-section right now. Honestly, that was one of the worst feelings that I've ever had. I asked him if we could just deliver the baby like that despite the position, because I had endured several hours of pain without medication because I wanted everything to be as natural as possible. He explained that breech deliveries often end up in catastrophic results for the baby because the head can get stuck, causing oxygen deprivation and brain damage. After hearing that, I obviously didn't want to do it, so I agreed to be rushed to the OR and proceed with the C-section. Now that I have told you what happened, let me tell you what they did wrong and what they should have done. As a patient, I assumed that they had made sure that everything was fine prior to starting the induction, but clearly it was not. I was induced despite having my baby in a breech position. I never imagined that this kind of negligence would occur because I knew that any experienced doctor or nurse can tell the baby's position by doing a pelvic examination or simply by palpating my abdomen. The thing is, they didn't do it. They didn't do the palpating of the abdomen, and they didn't check me carefully. On top of not doing careful examinations, they ignored the fact that in about 7% of cases, the babies turned the wrong way right before delivery. After that day, I had nightmares and flashbacks of being rushed to the OR for a long time. I often wonder if things could have been different, so I started doing research on the topic. And I learned that all of this could have easily been prevented. There is a procedure called external cephalic version, and in this book by the American College of OB-GYNs, they explain the procedure. During the procedure, the doctor manually rotates the fetus from outside the mother's abdomen. The procedure is very successful. They turn the baby in about 85% of the cases. and that's exactly what my doctor should have done prior to inducing. Now let's move on and talk about what could be behind the rising number of C-sections. As I continued my research, I learned that financial incentives for doctors could be associated with their negligence that often ends up in C-section. According to Michael Klein, an expert on the topic, doctors spend about no more than 40 minutes performing a C-section, whereas a natural delivery can take hours or even days in some cases. Doctors get paid just as much for both procedures. To finish up, I would like to say that I am sharing my experience so that you know that this does happen. You now know that fetal malpresentations occur during delivery. I have also explained to you how C-sections can be avoided in these cases. In addition, you are now aware of the fact that doctors do benefit a great deal from these C-sections, and this is something that could be behind the increasing numbers of these procedures. Please be an informed patient and use this knowledge so that no one else has to go through this.